promising, right? And they have something to look forward to because of the calendar year. Well, yeah, resolutions, that word is thrown out around a lot. And I find that when you focus on a resolution, you're focusing on the wrong thing. So what do I mean by that? We are human beings of habit. What does that mean? We're habitual. So what we do day in and day out is what we're going to do day in and day out, right? So while a resolution is a positive thing, I think something to focus on, right? After 2, maybe 3 weeks, we will always revert back to our habits, what we did the previous month, in the previous year. So I know a lot of you are focusing on your New Year's resolution. Let's replace that word with something more controllable and more impactful. Let's replace that word with habitual, right? Habitual. So what does that mean? That means that I need to make one small change in my daily life. Now, it's not, okay, you're going to go from sitting on the couch to then strength training 3 days a week, right? And meal prepping every single day, right? And doing your fasted cardio and going to your boot camp, 2 to 3 days a week. Like, that's not ideal, nor is that sustainable, right? Because you're taking somebody that was just sitting on a couch, right, week in and week out, to then throwing in all of this rigorous, intense exercise. So it's not a sustainable thing because we're always going to go back to our habits. So my advice as a coach to everyone is to find one small thing that you can focus on and you can change today. Something small, right? So if you want to focus on the nutrition piece, you can focus on the nutrition piece. Instead of, buying lunch out, why don't you just start to make lunch the night before, prep it, bring it with you to work, right? And I wouldn't even focus on the exercise because then you're setting yourself up for failure. You're throwing too much at yourself. And I'm talking to somebody right now that hasn't been doing anything to improve their health every day, right? So starting with something small, right? So for somebody that wants to change, their diet, quote unquote, I don't like to use that term. I like to use the term nutrition, right? Because we all use nutrition to sustain life. Diet is a quick road to, overeating and making yourself feel good by indulging. So right now, if you want to focus on nutrition and improving your nutritional habits, right? First thing I would do is just make one shift in your routine because we all have a routine. We live by it. At the end of the day, we're always going to resort to that. So like I said, instead of stopping at a deli on your lunch break, maybe prepare the meal the night before, right? Just by doing that, you're making a shift. And if you can do that every single day, that'll create some momentum. And then you have to use that momentum to your advantage. So momentum's built, you made the shift, and then we can feed off of that. Right, it's almost like a wave, right? And then it starts to build up and it gets bigger and more powerful. And then you start to add in these things to that wave. So the wave is created by one small shift. So if somebody, for example, wants to focus on increasing their physical activity, right? I wouldn't say, I'm going to go to the gym every single day and lift weights. Or I'm going to go to the track every single day and go run, right? I wouldn't do that. Because again, you're coming off the couch. So your body's going to be put in this shock, right? And then you're going to have delayed onset soreness, which is going to override anything else. Because when you feel pain, you don't want to go on, especially somebody that's been sedentary. So for somebody that wants to get off the couch, yeah, I mean that figuratively and partially, literally. But somebody that just goes about their day, they go to their job, they go home, and that's it. So for somebody that wants to make the exercise a pivotal part of their day-to-day, I would start by going maybe 2 to 3 times in a week, right? That small shift, right? You don't have to go to the gym, but it could just be something as simple as a walk. So I'm going to do a walk for 2 to 3 times a week, right? And do that for 2, 3, 4 weeks. Do that for a month. Once the month is up, then you can add in an extra day, right? The wave gets bigger, right? It has some more power, and you start to add in those things. So, to summarize this, somebody that has not been doing anything at all to improve their health, and you have no habit in doing so, it's important that you don't take on too much at once. Because, again, we always go back to what we're comfortable with. Humans, we seek comfort. So in order for us to change our lifestyle, it has to happen with small, continuous steps. So don't take on too much at once. For somebody that reaches out to me as a coach and says, hey, I need to get going, what should I do? I tell them, start walking. Just go for a walk. Go for a walk 20, 30 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week. Just do that. Start with that, right? Before I talk about anything about food or anything else, just start moving. Develop that discipline muscle, right? That new habit, and then we can talk. And again, when it comes to weight training and adding on this stress with iron and barbells and dumbbells, that's a very challenging thing for somebody. So I wouldn't take somebody that's been on the couch and then bring them underneath a barbell right away. I would have them get comfortable with using their body in different movement patterns. Right, so instead of just walking, I would have them do a body weight lunge, right? A body weight squat, a jumping jack, movements that you don't do every day. And then we start to introduce, other implements: barbell, dumbbell, medicine ball, resistance bands. But again, these shifts, they need to be small and subtle, right? It's almost like you're not really thinking about it too much. You don't want to think too much about, the changes that you're making, because then they become this huge thing, and it almost puts a burden on you. It feels like it's like another task to add to your list every day. And we all have a long list, right? But if we can make this, almost, I want to use the word habitual, but I like the word subtle, like a subtle change. You'd be surprised at how sustainable it is and how we can create some longevity with that in our fitness and our health journey. So again, those of you that have made these enormous resolutions, maybe think back to the previous 3 or 4 and see how those have turned out, right? See if those have made a change in your life. And then now looking at today, right? What's one thing today, one small shift today that I could make or that could be made to create some momentum, right? Don't think you have to go to the gym every single day and lift weights, or you have to go hit the track every morning. For those of you that haven't been doing anything at all, I'm talking to, right? It starts with, okay, I'm going to walk Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for 30 minutes. And I'm going to do that this week. I'm going to do that next week and the week after that. And then we add in little by little small changes, right? Rome wasn't built in a day, right? The pyramids weren't built in a day. So anything meaningful takes time, right? And your health and your well-being is very meaningful. It should be the most important thing to you right now, because without that, you can't be there for your family, you can't be there for your coworkers, and you can't be there for your community, right? So that should be everybody's number one focus, is their health. And then number two, I would say their financial well-being. Okay, so health first, so you can love and you can be there and spend time with the people that you care about. Number two, you gotta have money, right? Because if you don't have that, you're in trouble. So make that small shift something very subtle. Think of it as a wave, right? The wave starts to get bigger over time. It doesn't just increase instantly, right? Think about how long it's taking you to put on those 50, 60, 70 pounds, some of you, right? You're not going to lose that just in a month. So forget about the 30-day challenges. Forget about the, whatever BS nutrition pill that's going to just make you look like your favorite Instagram model, right? Forget about all that stuff. I want you to focus on hard work, commitment, and discipline, because that's what it's going to take. A supplement's not going to change your life, okay? A 30-day challenge is not going to change your life, right? But your habits will change your life. All right. This was a quick one today. I just wanted to get right to it and inspire you all to focus on changing your habits. Change what you do on your day to day, right? And it doesn't have to be something enormous, just something small and continuous that will eventually lead to a monumental shift, right, in your life. Okay, that's it for today's episode. I'll see you guys on the next one. God bless.